All I want to know is, where's my girl Hippolyta at? Lovecraft Country, Episode 6, starts with a Korean woman in a theater watching Meet Me in St. Louis, a 1944 film starring Judy Garland. It's Gia, the woman we've been seeing and hearing throughout the season. The title of this episode is Meet Me in Daegu, which is a play on this Judy Garland film. Daegu is the fourth largest city in South Korea, and the setting of this episode. Once Jae is alone in the theater, she begins enthusiastically singing and dancing to the trolley song. The camera cuts and we see her emotionless and staring at the screen. These events take place in 1949, before everything we've witnessed so far in the series with Tick and the Braithwaites. Jae and her mother are preparing kimchi for them to eat this winter. Gimjang is the practice of making enough kimchi to last until the spring. And they haven't been invited to the neighbor's gimjang since her husband died. Jae and her mother are on their own, but Jae hopes to bring respect back to the family by earning her medical degree. Uma, or mom, says the only way to bring respect back to the family is for Jae to bring men home, plural. In anatomy class, Jae's classmates are gossiping about tonight's meeting, which is a kind of Korean speed dating. They're teasing Jae's best friend, Yoonja. They say she might not be coming to tonight's meeting because one of her last dates has fallen in love with her. At the meeting, Jae is having no such luck. All of the men she's speed dating with decline to match with her. It's like getting a swipe left in person. Jae longs for the love that Judy Garland felt when she saw her neighbor for the first time in Meet Me in St. Louis. Yoonja matches with one of the men Jae was interested in and invites her out to coffee with them. But Jae insists that her mother is demanding she bring her own man home. That night, Jae is out at the bar and quickly attracts the attention of another man who's drinking alone. She brings him to her home, lights some candles, and strips naked for him. They have sex, and right as he climaxes, he's impaled by 9 tails that come out of Jae's body. While inside of him, she sees visions of his past and relives all of his memories before he's eviscerated into a pool of blood that drenches Jae. Her mother immediately walks in and tells her, 10 more. What the fuck? Jae is a kumyo, a legendary 9-tailed fox monster that seduces men and steals their souls before killing them. It's now the summer of 1950, and Jae is back in the movie theater watching another Judy Garland film. Before it can even begin, the packed theater is interrupted by the sounds of tanks and megaphones. America is occupying South Korea and handing out propaganda leaflets. Back at home, Uma made taeokguk. It's a rice cake soup traditionally served on the Korean New Year. Jae is confused as to why she made it, and her mother reminds her that it's her birthday. She made it with anchovies because beef is scarce and it reminds Jae of Uma's husband. Anchovies were his favorite dish. Jae explains to Uma that when she absorbs souls, she sees their entire life before they die. All Uma's husband's memories are in her. Uma wants to never speak of her dead husband again and implores her to bring home another man ASAP. It's been almost a month since she's claimed a soul. She recommends targeting one of the Americans who are here waging war. She only has 2 more souls left to collect before she's paid the debt to the Mudang, or Korean shaman, who turned her into the kumyo. Once Jae absorbs 100 souls, the kumyo spirit will leave and she will become human again. At the hospital, it's mayhem as Jae and the other medics are attending to the injured American soldiers. One hysterical soldier twists and snaps Jae's arm in a fit of fear, but she is miraculously uninjured due to her kumyo powers. Her friend, Yoonja, notices this, but doesn't even flinch. Later that night, Jae tells Yoonja that she overheard her speaking about the war and knows she's a communist. Jae doesn't care about that, because she's different too. As Yoonja gives Jae advice about her demanding mother, we see an angry mob drag a communist down the road for a public hanging. This execution enrages Yoonja, as do the American soldiers standing by letting it happen. Jae locks eyes with one of the complicit soldiers, and then we cut to Uma cleaning up his blood. She has taken her 99th soul. Jae is remembering the memory of Uma's husband, who she wants to speak nothing of. Jae says that he loved her. She knows it from absorbing his memories. Uma's husband had underage sex with Jae, and Uma went to the Mudang to enact revenge. She turned her into a Kumio to kill him, and now she owes a debt of 100 souls before Jaya can become human again. Jaya is confused by the concept of love. She knows that her father loved her and doesn't understand why it was wrong. Uma berates her and tells her she doesn't understand because she is a monster. She'll get it when she claims her 100th soul and becomes human again. But Jaya is done and doesn't want to take another soul. Jaya and Uma come to a moment of reckoning. She's desperate to get her daughter back, and she's one soul away. But Jaya is refusing to participate anymore. Jaya doesn't think she is Uma's daughter at all. She just has her memories trapped in her. To prove it, she sings a song she used to sing every time her dad raped her. In the next scene, Jaya and her group of nurses are rounded up for interrogation. One of them is a communist spy. As they're questioned, we see Atticus for the first time in the episode. He is charged with executing one of the nurses when his commanding officer runs out of bullets. This is some of the violence he has been referring to in previous episodes. Yoonja admits to being the spy when Atticus puts a gun to Jaya's head. Yoonja gives herself up to save her. It's now fall of 1950, and they condemn the movie theater where Jaya would see Judy Garland films. Back in the hospital, she sees an injured Atticus. His glasses are broken and his leg is injured. She is enraged at the sight of him and vows revenge for her fallen friends. When she gets home that night, she tells Uma that she will take the last soul from an American soldier. The next day, while she's making up his bed, he asks her to read the last few chapters of The Count of Monte Cristo for him. She purposely spoils the end for him, but the ending she knows is from the movie, not the book. He offers her the book to read to see the real ending, but she still gives him the cold shoulder. Outside, she runs into Tik and a Korean-American soldier during her lunch break. She asks them if they've met Judy Garland, and Atticus explains to her how people of color are treated differently in America. The Korean-American soldier explains he didn't choose to be in the war. He was drafted, but Tik volunteered for the war to escape everything, just like she did with movies. Jia is reading The Count of Monte Cristo with Tik. She's curious why he chose this book, and he tells her how it's his father's favorite book, probably because it was written by a Negro man. They bond over their mutual desire to be their own people, and not who their parents want them to be. It's advice Jaya got from her best friend, who Tik was complicit in murdering. She is starting to have feelings for Atticus, but is reminded through their conversation about the bad things he has done because of the war. That night, Jaya shows up for a date with Tik at the army base. They have to pretend she's a prostitute for her to be allowed on base. With the help of Uncle George, he was able to secure Summer Stock, the newest Judy Garland film, for them to watch together. They have their first kiss during the song You, Wonderful You, and Jaya brings Tik back to her place. Before they have sex, he confesses to her that he's a virgin. He has real feelings for her, and being with her is the only way he can forget about the horrible things he has done during the course of the war. They start to have sex, but before her tails can come out, she abruptly kicks him out and calls him Yangnom, which is a derogatory word for Westerners. Her mom walks in and is disappointed that she didn't take the last soul. Jaya has real feelings for Atticus and doesn't want to kill him. This disgusts Uma, and she spits on her. The next day, she shows up at his base. She yells at him for killing her best friend. Tik wants to know why she agreed to go out with him if she knew about what he's done the whole time. They've both done monstrous things, and she thinks they can both be more than their past actions. They can be the good they see in each other. The next scene, they make love in the private movie theater Tik set up for her. Atticus loses his virginity, and she is able to control her tails and not kill him. Uma is still upset and refuses to speak to Jaya. She confesses her love for Atticus, but Uma reminds her that she is still a Kumio and will kill him eventually. She argues that once he finds out what she is, he can never love her. It is now winter of 1950. Jaya is reading the legend of the Kumio to Atticus. She is slowly trying to confess to him what she really is, but Tik has a confession of his own. He's earned enough points to go home. He wants her to come home with him, and they start to make love again. This time, she is unable to control her tails, and they come out while they're having sex. She's able to stop them from killing him, but not before she sees his past and future. She has seen his death and pleads with him not to go back home. Atticus is terrified by what just happened and gets the hell out of there. Jaya is heartbroken that Tik left her and that she's seen his death. Uma consoles her, and in the next scene they head back to the Mudang with the sounds of a disillusioned Judy Garland playing in the background. Uma offers to bear the cost for her daughter, stopping at 99 souls. Jaya asks about the foreseen death of Atticus and if it'll come true. The Mudang tells her that she hasn't truly seen the darkness yet, and she'll see countless deaths before her journey is done. So what just happened? Jaya, the daughter of Uma, was raped by her father. To get revenge, Uma brought Jaya to a Mudang who possessed her with the spirit of the Kumio, a legendary nine-tailed fox that steals the souls of men who have done evil. She owes a debt of 100 souls and retains the memory of all the souls she steals. Atticus and his company are charged with finding a communist mole within Jaya's hospital shift, which happens to be her best friend, Yoongjia. They execute many of her co-workers, including her best friend, and she is determined to get revenge by taking Atticus's soul. But they fall for each other and she experiences true love for the first time with Tik. He loses his virginity to her and she falls in love with him. But when she can't control her tales and sees his future death, she warns him not to go back home. Jaya and her mother head back to the Mudang to pay the debt and see if there is any way to save Atticus from death. But the Mudang leaves her with an ominous message that she will see countless more deaths before her journey is done. Judy Garland serves as a backdrop for this episode, as it is Jaya's favorite American actress. But by the end, we hear autobiographical tape recordings about how angry she is with her life. That's it for episode 6. Do you still have questions about this crazy story? Do you also want to know where the heck Hippolyta and Diana are? Leave your thoughts below in the comments, and thanks for watching the Chitlin Circuit.